Chapter 18 Obe. Wanyenyekevu tugged he heard something and turned around, then Daniel's body fell to the ground. Turning again, he saw Daniel with a hole in his forehead, blood gushing out. Then he felt a sharp pain in his left arm. Looking down, he saw blood coming out of his arm. Looking up, he saw a man with a sniper cylinder shooting at them. Quickly and with great force, he took out one of his metal stars and threw it, hitting the man in the middle of his skull. He fell dead. He looked down to see his wounds, then looked up. Daniel sighed, I get it. Wanyenyekevu dropped to one knee. He just saw a vision. There is a man nearby in some bushes. I will throw one star in the bush. I need you to throw 4 more stars 6 inches below where I throw, and I'm going to throw 4 more stars because I'm unsure if he's standing or kneeling now. Wanyenyekevu shouted as he turned. He threw a star and heard an unfamiliar sound. Then Daniel threw 4 more stars below where he threw, and they heard the sound again. Then Wanyenyekevu threw his 4 and heard a long, silent cry. Go quickly and get the rest. Wanyenyekevu pulled out the Colt revolver he got from Jome and slowly walked towards the bushes. He saw a man unconscious, lying in his blood, barely breathing. Kicking the gun away from his body, making sure he was out, he planted his foot on one of his wounds and pressed down. It wasn't long before everyone was surrounding the area. Wanyenyekevu signaled that everything was all rigged. Daniel. Wanyenyekevu sighed. You're always seconds from finding your request. He looked at Jome as he continued, we need to get information out of this guy, Daniel. I need you to help him just enough to find out who he is, what he wants, and who sent him. Daniel healed the most severe wounds while Jome and Jonathan tied the man up. Once tied, Wanyenyekevu slapped the man to awaken him. How is it you tracked us? Sighed Wanyenyekevu. The man looked at his wound and asked, what happened? Wanyenyekevu slapped him again and demanded, how is it you tracked us? Shaking his head and bucking his ears, he replied, there is a communicator in your possession. It belongs to the Abeni I worked for Alpa, Quebet, Moja or Akmoja. Wanyenyekevu then asked, how is it we didn't detect you? The man replied, cloaking the vite made bite Abenians, holding his wrist up as high as he could get it. Likete one on my wrist. Wanyenyekevu took it off and handed it to Elisha. You guys say what you can do with this, so we don't have anyone else snacking upon us. The man then asked, how did 5 men, 3 women, and a boy kill over 1,000 well-trained Anakatas? Still saying Daniel covered in blood in his vision, furious, Wanyenyekevu said, I'll ask the questions here. Taking out his assegai, on a last question Wanyenyekevu asked. Where is this Abeni that you work for? The stranger said, I don't know. He gives the orders, and I carrying them out, but there is a bounty on you all's head as well. I was just told to scout the area for survivors because the communicator was still on, we were unsure of what happened. But when I saw you two and thought of the bounty. Wanyenyekevu slapped him again, you killed a boy. Confused, the man said, is there another one? Besides that one? For I have killed no one to die, let alone a boy. I was aiming for you. Wanyenyekevu forgot it was a vision, but the fact that the world we killed him made him furious, and he charged at the man with the assegai. Wanyenyekevu, child of Sabaoth, met Obe, a great warrior of Sabaoth. Wanyenyekevu remembered his vision and Obe's fake, dropped the assegai, turned, and walked away, saying, "We cannot harm him." Daniel. Hail him because he is a man of Sabaoth. Obe, still confused, asks, "Who is that man?" And that voice called me a child of Sabaoth. Daniel did not say a word. Jonathan walked toward him, saying, "Mlezi was the voice, I think, and that is wanyenyekevu of Louisiana, a warrior for Sabaoth. Uhere te fuk yoget, that we killed over 1,000 people." Before he could speak, Jonathan asked Obe, "And how is it that a believer of Sabaoth, wakatilian at that, works for an Abeni?" Obe said, "First, I work for the Anakatas, and they work the Abeni. You will never say an Abenians get their hands dirty. They will always have someone taking care of their dirty work. Second, I have worked for them since I was a child. I don't really know much about Sabaoth or my roots at that." Thinking about his childhood, Obe continued, "All I know is when I was a child, a man gave me this book. Pulling out an old torn Torah, and I have been reading it since I was a child, not really knowing why. I figured it had something to do with my family, so I kept reading it repeatedly, since then. But as far as the Anakatas, it was either eat or die, so I chose to eat. I have always been a good fighter, hunter, and tracker. And they made me a bounty hunter, an assassin." He was interrupted by Elisha, who was looking at the cloaking devike. "The distance on this thing is outrageous, and I believe I can make a closed network communicator for us now." Jonathan looked at Elisha, saying, "It'll be easy to use our communicators without anyone monitoring or tracking it but us." Jome looked at Jonathan, "Oh, you said that last time. Don't you say who found us?" Pointing at Obe. They saw wanyenyekevu walking back towards them before they could finish their conversation. Wanyenyekevu picked up his assegai and asked Obe, "Are you with us, or against us because the time is short at hand? No one has eaten, and dusk is upon us. I am with you, man of Sabaoth. We are not enemies, but brothers," said Obe as he saw his wounds healing right before his eyes. Jonathan interrupted, "You said, we killed over 1,000 people. When did this happen?" "I counted maybe 100, 120 at the most." Obe, puzzled, said, "The bubbletity of last truckes. That explosion alone killed 1,500. Daniel stopped hailing Obe and looked at him, and the rest of the children of Ibrahim looked at each other and started to ask questions. "We will talk later, then, we must go now," said wanyenyekevu. Obe interrupted, "Wait. There is a communicator among you, and the signal is strong, so someone will be here, unless we mislead them to go elsewhere. I need it now." "Elijah?" wanyenyekevu said. "Please help him find that communicator." Obe said, "My jet ship is just a few yards. I need to plate this on me. Ship and send it somewhere." Wanyenyekevu said, "I will go with you." Wanyenyekevu instructed everyone to prepare a meal with whatever they had and plate camp somewhere safe as he left with Obe. Wanyenyekevu and Obe ran to the jet ship. Out of breath, Obe said, "I need to set this thing to autopilot to a plate miles away from us." Wanyenyekevu said, "How far can you send it?" Obe started pressing buttons. "How about Rio? Rio de Janeiro?" Wanyenyekevu said, "That's far enough." Obe finished setting the autopilot on the jet ship as it took off, heading south. Heading back to camp, Obe properly introduced himself, and wanyenyekevu dropped his guard after Obe began telling his story of being a slave since a youth for the Anakatas. While listening to Obe tell of his abuse, trials, and tribulations, living a life as a slave until he was trained to kill for them, wanyenyekevu saw a vision but didn't say a word to Obe, realizing he spoke the truth. 10 men seemed to come out of nowhere behind some bushes and stood in front of Wanyenyekevu and Obe. "I'm looking for the man that uses this symbol," said the stranger, taking a star from around his neck on a chain as Wanyenyekevu looked at Obe. Obe said, "I know not of this symbol, nor what you are looking for." Obe said firmly and boldly to the men, "Who are you, and what is it you want?" The man said with contempt, "You are Obe, a slave assassin for my father. I know of you, but you do not know me. No, tell me of this symbol or die, slave." Wanyenyekevu was now angry over the things the man had just said to Obe because he had already seen the conversation in a vision. But Obe replied, "I am nobody's slave anymore. Who is your father, and what is it you want with this man?" The man smiled, "My name is Nikon, and my father is Oedipus, and I look for the murderer of my youngest brother, Achelin." Wanyenyekevu recognized the name. "May I see the symbol which you ask about?" Handing the star to Wanyenyekevu, Nikon said, "This bullshit here, do you know it, for my fig is not with you yet." Wanyenyekevu smiled, "Your fig is with me, for this is mine," and threw the star into Nikon's skull, killing him. As his body fell to the ground dead, Wanyenyekevu said, "No, I have killed 2 evil brothers with one star." The rest of Nikon's men attacked Obe and Wanyenyekevu but were defeated, and Wanyenyekevu was amazed at Obe's fig thing still, and so was Obe of Wanyenyekevu's. They quickly rushed back to camp as if nothing had happened. But Timothy had reached the others, and after Wanyenyekevu had caught his breath, he told them what had happened to them. As they discussed it, Wanyenyekevu said, "But why can you install some distress button on this King David? Some kind of alarm so well know when one of us is in trouble." Elisha replied, "I talked about it, but I think it's possible." Looking around, he asked Jome, "I see a splendid meal, but where is the camp and the horses?" Pointing to 2 small poles that were standing in the lake, he said, "You said Safe, the camp is underwater, and no head signatures can be traced under there." Wanyenyekevu smiled, "That sounds like a Safe plate." Obe looked at Elisha, "You have a misconception about this head signature. The trees in these parts are not thick enough. Although the water is a good idea, we might not be deep enough. However, it is a good idea. It will help you understand a lot of things I know as we travel together, but for now, you need to cover it with mud." Wanyenyekevu looked at Grate, "Will you do us the honor?" Obe looked on in amazement. How is that possible?" They said, "We will tell you later." Everyone settled in the cube ate and went in for the night. Wanyenyekevu tells Grate, "I know you are tired, but I need you to run about 100 miles south and return, dusting off your tracks." Grate left, and Wanyenyekevu was about to speak when Grate returned in seconds, done. Wanyenyekevu shook his head. "It's been a long and a busy day, at that. We'll sleep in for a little longer and get plenty of rest. We only have a half-day journey to Silver City." Obe waited until Wanyenyekevu was finished talking and asked, pointing at Grate, "You mean to tell me she ran 100 miles and back in a few seconds?" Wanyenyekevu said, "And dusted our footprints, about is able. We shall talk later. For now we are all tired and must get some rest." Wanyenyekevu walked into the camp, looking at the fish above him with his flashlight, saying to himself, "A glass bubble, this is just beautiful." Everyone was sound asleep, and Obe lay there confused as he asked himself, "I have been a slave all my life, killing for a people I hate. Killing me own. How am I supposed to live my life now?" What was that voike calling me a great warrior of Sabaoth? Questions filled his head, and for the first time in his life, he felt a tear fall from his eye. Throwing himself to sleep, he whispered, Sabaoth, help me. Not aware he had fallen asleep, Obe heard a loud explosion that awoke him, surrounded by carnage. Women cried for help as they reached out to him. Another explosion rigged in front of him where alien-looking creatures were trying to capture him, another explosion and another. There was a cloud of smoke ahead of him. A man's figure walked towards him out of the cloud of smoke. The man smiled at him and handed him a book. He reached out for it. Was the same man who had given him the Torah long ago, but it was as it looked to die, old and torn, saying, Obe, a great warrior of Sabaoth. Like Joseph and Moses, you had to live amongst your captors to understand them. With great pain comes a glorious reward. Wanyenyekevu and the people you are with is where you belong. Sabaoth has long looked after you to bring you here. This is your family now, and this is your home. Obe woke up and started crying, saying everyone around him was still asleep. He whispered, Thank you, Sabaoth. Obe talked about his judgeship waking up wanyenyekevu. I think it's wise to move on to your destination. I have to think as if I was hunting, I would researched and found out it was on autopilot and would gone to its last location. It's around Biliam, you still have 5 to 6 hours of darkness, and we can move until it's light. Wanyenyekevu said, I agree. Waking up everyone, Wanyenyekevu said, it's been a change of plan, and Obe has made me aware that it's best to move on to our destination to Silver Kite. Let's use the cover of darkness to get as far as possible. So, let's pack up and get out of here as soon as possible. Quickly, everyone packed up everything and was outside. I need a horse, said Obe. Remember my jet ship is in Rio. Jonathan said, Here, use mine. And then he turned and asked Joy, May I ride with you? Smiling, she agreed, saying, You're making this a habit. Jonathan smiled, Ik no. Jome joki, may I? O are you, my brother, and everyone started laughing. Jonathan embarked, kicked the horse, and started riding toward Silver Kite, followed by the rest, rigged before daybreak. They had slowed down, for they had finally made it to the outskirts of the town. There are plenty of trees we can use as cover located 2 miles south of us, said Elisha. Wanyenyekevu said, That is where we shall go. Heading toward the tree line, Wanyenyekevu observed the tree line, looking for movement of an ambush. Looking up, he sees an object hurtling down from the skies. Impi. Wanyenyekevu shouted. Obe, not knowing what was being said, shouted, It is coming straight down from the sky too fast. We need to back up and fast. Everyone backed up a bit, and it slammed into the ground, sending dirt and debris everywhere, after the dust settled. An enormous door, 50 feet in height, stood in front of them. The door slowly opened, and standing there on their horses, they looked at each other. Wanyenyekevu said, I don't sense any danger. He signaled his horse to go on as he entered the doors, soon followed by the rest. A stranger standing near a table said to them, Welcome. Sabaoth has said that you were weary and is now giving you rest. Come, relax and dine, for no flesh has ever entered heaven's gate. But you must not pass the tree line, for you would surely die. Sabaoth has made this place just for you. Everyone was in awe and slowly got off their horses. Please sit and dine, for I know there are many questions among you. They restored a very long table with a feast of their favorite foods. Everyone sat down and enjoyed themselves as they spoke to the man. Daniel, being the youngest, asked the man, "So, who are you?" The man smiled, "The human tongue cannot pronounce my name. But I'm known as Msheka." Wanyenyekevu and Obe, quickly knowing who he was by name, stopped eating and bowed. "No," Msheka said. "Please rise." Saying the reactions of Wanyenyekevu and Obe, Daniel looked at Wanyenyekevu and asked, "Who is Msheka?" Wanyenyekevu said, "We never got that far in the Torah. He's the son of Sabaoth who came to earth to say we were having problems obeying him, so he came down as flesh like us, to say and fail sin. He's our attorney, our redeemer." Daniel asked, "What is sin?" Msheka said to Daniel, "Sin is those things that Sabaoth hates. Like pride, lust, greed, and there are many more. Like man, everything is sin, but they compare sin by their own definition, not Sabaoth. You will know them soon, for you will become a great prophet for Sabaoth like in the days of Isaiah, for his spirit dwells within you." He turned to the sisters, "Grace, mercy, and joy, I have made you these names because you are dear to my heart." Then he turned to Jome and Jonathan. "Two brothers that remind me of the two brothers who were my disciples James and John." Pointing at Elijah and Elisha, also the same spirit of whom I made you. Tears rolled from his eyes. "You bring me great joy, for you have obeyed the word of Sabaoth, and you will make a great and mighty force the world cannot stand." He stood up and said, "Behold, Obe, your gift from Sabaoth shall be given, and no man will believe it, and Wanyenyekevu an unwavering spirit, a faithful servant of Sabaoth." He took a seat and continued, "It is an honor to be here. Let us dine together, and enjoy one another's company, for it is Sabaoth's will that we do so." Everyone ate and talked, laughter and joy filled the air. Wanyenyekevu asked Msheka, "I had a vision the other day and seen this lady a few times, come to think of it dressed in ancient clothing. However, she was in a time I know not of. She called herself Akila Malek." "Who is she?" He smiled, "Yes, Akila Malek. She's a prophetess, a guide of the blind, and the voice of Sabaoth. She will guide your great-grandson, Cush, to his destiny, as she has done for your ancestor before you. Her words make me smile, her spirit brings me joy. Truth springs out of her mouth like a well, and she will bring down strongholds with her voice." He paused for a moment, "Listen to her words because she is not of your time. Many things you will not understand, but your grandson will. It is what turns his heart to Sabaoth." Out of nowhere, a lady about 6 feet tall wearing ancient African Native American clothing was speaking. It was as if they were there themselves, sitting in the audience. The privatization of prisons allows for commercializing the system and shopping it to the highest bidders. Contracts are now given to build prisons to the most lucrative building contractors. What then? The selection of places to build the prisons or to acquire prisons already built and modify them. Of course, the South will be the primary region because more Wakatilians live here, and the chances of keeping the prison incarceration rate high with Wakatilians and minority prisoners are the greatest here. They'll go to the urban areas that also boast of having a large minority population rate and high crime areas. Rural areas in the South are now being saved and maintained by revenues generated from prison labor and government loans and subsidies. Slavery is now legally reborn under a different name. But due to the depression, private prisons are losing revenue because of abandonment by their original investor, backers who are no longer making money off bodies in jails, as they once did and are now getting out of the business. This leaves the operators of these slave centers with a cash flow problem. So, they are swinging the status to get more money. This will lead, of course, to even tougher laws regarding the conviction of prisoners and the release of those locked up. What then? You will start seeing more crime dramas and movies designed to condition the mind to accept that we are all potential criminals who have to be ruled over by an elite group who know best and are more righteous than we. And demands for less leniency even for first-time offenders and children, as we have seen recently, judges. Since a prison was sold kids down the river for millions in kickbacks. Daniel didn't fully understand, but listened anyway as Msheka turned to him. You will understand and agree in due time, just listen, my son. As she continued. This is not about justice, not even closer to justice. It is about profits to the rich who exploit the lives and labor of their fellow humans, even and especially those who may not be violent criminals but simply made bad choices that hurt themselves more than others. These are the majority of your offenders. Sabaoth will have to intervene here, for humanity is no longer capable. Uhile im all for justice, law and order, and piety through respect for others, rig to exist. Justice doesn't always come in the courtrooms of this land from those who wear uniforms or badges or robes. Sometimes it comes from everyday heroes and ordinary citizens who remember they are their brother's keeper. Sometimes it comes from those who realize that justice and law are not always on the same side. And sometimes injustices happen in the centers of law by the hands of those who are supposed to represent both. The innocent often gets convicted, and the guilty sometimes go free. Proof that money and profit is often the driving force in our criminal justice system is the dozens of cases where innocent people are known or found to be innocent when they are locked up, yet are forced to go through tons of red tape before they are set free. If prosecutors were as anxious to set the innocent free as they are to lock up the guilty, it would be a testament to the system's fairness. But often, the process is more important to defend than the people they invented it to protect. We seem to, in our society, have forgotten that because something is allowed doesn't make it rigged. The Trans-African slave trade and slavery was allowed, it was neither moral, just, or rigged. Because something is, doesn't mean it should be. Because something is a fact doesn't make it the truth. That is when what we create becomes greater than ourselves. We are setting ourselves up for chaos. The framers of the Constitution said that laws are only to be maintained when they justly represent the will and interests of the people. But the laws are never greater than the will of the people. They were created to protect. Nor are the people elected or hired to represent those laws. The voice of the lady faded out. Msheka then said to Wanyenyekevu, your descendants heard her voice, and the spirit of Sabaoth healed their souls. Because men became evil during his time, they separated the men from women, and children separated from their parents. Respect died, and manipulated each other for no reason. Women were given prizes for leaving their husbands, and soon after, women said they didn't need men. And the child was taken from their father and given over to the state to be raised as rebellious people. But her voice was the only crying in the wilderness. Grate was in tears. We has about allowed such cruelty to happen to his people. They have forsaken him and chased another, likea chatting wife, msheka side. Only a handful were saved and returned to their first love, but they had to be punished for living in the first place through the fire, for only fire purifies. But be of God cheer, because of their obedience, you were blessed. Silented covered the room, and he finished his meal and said, Enough for now, place it and rest, for you must be on your way tomorrow. They all talked amongst themselves all day, and Obe took a walk. Looking past the tree line. Wanyenyekevu saw him and walked up to him. Obe turned and saw wanyenyekevu, smiling, he would be happy when he walked those golden streets with no more pain, no more sorrow, and no more tears. Wanyenyekevu said, Yes, just to be so close gives me chills. Obe turned to wanyenyekevu, Well, let's make us about proud of us, and do his will. Wanyenyekevu and Obe returned to the tables and continued talking about their situation and everything they saw that day until they finally fell asleep. They heard a voice, Rise and prepare to be on your way. It was Mlezi. Obe bowed. Mlezi looked at Obe, No, my friend, rise and give us about the honor. Wanyenyekevu looked at Obe. And Obe whispered, That's the old man that gave me the Torah all those years ago. Mlezi continued, A week has passed since you left, those was you are long gone and lost to your whereabouts. Prepare to leave and stay at your location for a week, in which time Obe you must perform a holy journey and retrieve your gift. Joy whispered to Jonathan. We were only here overnight, how has a week passed? Mlezi turned and smiled at Joy, time doesn't exist here. The large doorway opened, standing by the door as it opened stood Msheka, with a big smile, There will be times wherever you shall need me help, and only during point the deal will you be able to retrieve the full power of Sabaoth. Just say in Msheka's name, and he shall defeat your enemies before you. Mlezi grabbed Joy and Jonathan by the hands. Sabaoth is pleased to say your love for one another and has blessed it. He turned to Wanyenyekevu, and has given Wanyenyekevu approval to marry you two. Joy blushed, and Jonathan smiled in embarrassment. They all were happy for the two as they walked out of the large doorway. When they all had passed the doorway's entrance, it disappeared. They were in front of the tree line as if they had just come out of the forest. So they turned around, headed into the tree line, and vanished into the woods. Wanyenyekevu said, I will marry you two, after a week, after Obe's journey. Looking at Obe, you must perform your holy journey as well starting tomorrow morning. He raised his voice for everyone to hear. To everyone else, you may journey or do as you feel fit. And they all agreed to journey together with Obe the next day. Elisha and Jonathan worked on some of their equipment throughout the day while Elijah, Wanyenyekevu, Daniel, and Jome went hunting, and the three sisters discussed the wedding. Obe laid on the ground thinking about what had just happened and drifted off to sleep. For the first time in his life, he felt peace, he felt serenity, and it was a feeling he never wanted to end. Laughter awakened him. The men had returned, and they all were sitting around talking. Sorry to awaken you, Obe, we were just telling stories of our past. Would you like to join in? Said Jome. Obe replied, I don't know anything from my past, but I was born. Pulling up his shirt and revealing his shoulder. With this mark on me. Wanyenyekevu looked at the markings and said, That's the Seminoles tribe markings, but I'm not aware of your clan. In Native American history, many would mark their children with their tribe and clan after on a week along with circumcision if he was a boy. Pulling up his shirt sleeve. This is my tribe and clan. The Seminoles are mostly in Florida, but a few are scattered here and there. I think Oklahoma has a large population and a long history of them as well. I'm familiar with John Horse and the Black Seminoles. They traded the largest haven in the South for runaway slaves during the 1800s. They led the largest slave revolt in US history, securing the only emancipation of rebellious slaves before the US Civil War. They formed the largest mass exodus of slaves across the United States and, ultimately, to Mexico. It amazed Obe at what Wanyenyekevu was telling him, "How do you know all this?" Wanyenyekevu proudly said, "They taught us as a youth, our history and just history period back at home. We know very little about technology but plenty about history." The elders spoke most of our old history in the past, because we didn't read or write, it was lost. So now everything is written because that history has been lost forever, since the European invasion. They talked all day and finally fell asleep, with all security measures intact.